Yesterday, I saw my friend. Seeing him, I felt like I should share what's in my mind and heart with him, but my heart chose only you for this. I used to think that if I held you back a little, delayed things a little, you'd stay. Like love meant making someone wait until I felt ready. But you never needed to be held. You needed space. Space to breathe, space to choose, space to grow. And every time you pulled away, I mistook it for rejection. I didn't understand that the opposite of freedom isn't distance, it's force. Now, when I think about it, my heart says what should have kept you was my choice, not my grip. And I chose grip over choice. That's why you left. And I still feel that empty space where you used to be. I never ran from commitment. I had committed to the wrong place, and when you came along, I felt like choosing you meant letting go of my old sense of security. What was familiar felt safe, even if it was emotionally empty. Everything with you was unpredictable. You made me want to be emotionally present without ever saying a word, and that scared me. And here's the painful part. I was comfortable in a place where I felt nothing, and when you made me feel something, I treated it like a problem. Instead of giving you clarity, I kept you waiting in my confusion, and that was my worst mistake. You were never loud about your feelings. You never pushed me to choose. You were just ready quietly, like someone had taught you that love doesn't need noise to prove itself. Like when I'd reply late and you'd calmly start the conversation the next day without ever asking for an explanation for the silence. That softness of yours shouldn't have been my comfort. It should have been my responsibility. But I was too immature then to understand that just because no one was forcing me didn't mean you weren't hurting. You gave me so much emotional safety that I could hide inside my own confusion without ever feeling the consequences. Your willingness.
I like to say that it's not the only reason, it's not that it's the only reason. I do understand that when you've been humiliated, embarrassed, your ego as a man has been broken by other people, the last thing you need is to answer to another woman. That's what I see is happening with Zach right now. Is like okay, I respected this person, that person disrespected me, now it's time for me to be with this person, now I have to be, just feeling belittled, especially when you need confidence to feel like a man again, to grow, to feel like you're in control. And I feel like that's where Zach is right now. And I mean, the love that I have and I feel for Zach is what's keeping me around. It's not much of anything else because I feel haunted. And that's something that I'm just like tossing and turning. And I was just talking to him yesterday where I'm like, your soul is in, I could tell your soul, the other half of your soul is in my body because I'm tossing and turning and I feel this glow and I feel it. And I know a lot of there are people that feel something, but that's why when he was with Quincy, it was never really happiness. You can feel there's no love, there's no vibe because there's no attraction in the relationship. It's just a transaction. And with that being said, I'm just like when you're a twin flame, you can't run from your twin. You can't run from their problems. You can try to work through those problems with them. And the thing is just to get Zach to open up and be honest with me. That's the thing. And him being honest with me makes him feel like another answer. Like, I have to answer to you now. I'm like, Zach, your ego is what's preventing you from moving forward. Because Don't you think I haven't been humiliated? I've been humiliated. It's so embarrassing. And my mental health is embarrassing. When I struggle, when I see myself dancing like a crazy person in the street, when I record it just to see what it looks like, when just everything. There is much more that, but I can't live like that. I can't live ego based. I can't, I can't beat myself up because of my mental health. That's not my fault. That's the people that raised me's fault, right? They could have done right or better by me and made things a lot easier. But it's a pattern of abuse that was passed down, and it's just unfortunate. So I think that the best thing to do here is try to not beat yourself up, try to not be angry with yourself, try to not be think you're not good enough. Try That's my goal, is to send that message out to you, so that wherever you are, I know you're in your hiding place where you feel the safest, where you don't feel, and the last thing you want to do is work. You want to relax, you want to be held, you want to be nurtured, nursed. That's your the cry of your soul. And the best thing that you could do is just try to not beat yourself up, is the best thing I could tell you. I can't force you to surrender. I can't force you to do anything you don't want to do. That's just that's a part of your human rights, and being a civilized, what's the word? Is this civilized? Like a regular human being is respecting people's time and understanding people have a time. And it's like, the only thing is just every time when there's finances or money involved, it becomes a real problem, where it's like, okay, I have to prioritize my lifestyle. I have to adjust my living situation. I have to make sure I have my things together before I can jump on to Zach, who hasn't showed up. Yes, he's talking to me. Yes, he's talking to me through different channels, and I can tell it's him. Vibe, voice, words, everything. It couldn't be nobody else. Nobody has that kind of time. Nobody has that kind of time. They don't have that kind of energy. They don't have that kind of time. They don't even have the words. They don't have the power. They don't have the authority to say the things that Zach says. So I can't just assume it's someone else, because I'm like, if I had to pay to be this person, imagine what anybody has to pay just to pretend or to be this blah blah blah. So all I'm thinking is safety first, and my soul is, I can feel the cravings, and I can feel your cravings and my cravings, and I'm just like, at this point I feel like all we could do is wait. And there is a reason why we're in this position of waiting. It's not just about the money either. It's about my physical preparation to deal with my partner. It's money is needed, but if money is the excuse of why we're apart, that's just an excuse. But the real deal, which we have to face, is the reality of, are you prepared? Are you ready? Are you ready to deal with his trauma? Are you ready to deal with him? Are you ready to be there for him? Are you ready if he fails? If he fails, can you support? If I fail, I don't know if he could support me, so I have to be my own backbone. You know what I mean? And I have to make sure that I can handle the both of us. I can handle myself at least. But after handling myself, I need to make sure that when I'm dealing with my partner, he's physically, emotionally, mentally stable. And if he's not, I'm able to catch him. I know what to give him. I know where to send him. I know what to do. There's nothing like not knowing what to do. When he was with Quincy, she didn't know what to do. So she played pranks. She was just running around like a crazy person. Like a crackhead, like she's doing drugs or something. Like, what's going on? You can't follow along. You can't simply do, and then when you see people liking because she's getting pregnant, like, there doesn't make sense to have kids without a plan. It doesn't make smart people don't just have babies. They have a plan. You got to have a plan. You understand what you're bringing into the world, because it becomes chaotic when you don't have a plan. So you have these babies, and then once you have these babies, I'm telling you, they get older and they go away. They leave you. Do you see my mother here? No. Is your mother here? No. They leave, because if you don't have an idea, a plan, anything, maybe you have support. Kids can be a support system when you get older. But why not take care of your health now, so that when you get older, you don't have to wait for somebody else to do it? What if they don't do it? What if they get married and somebody takes them away? Their person takes them away, preventing them from supporting you. You can't hold them against their will. So for me, it's like, we can have children, but I think thinking first, making sure we can take care of those kids, making sure we know what to do, making sure we have a plan, an idea. That's where my mindset is. And I don't have that kind of energy to blow on praying. So I don't have, when there is so much danger. I've been in such a dangerous situation, that pranks just make my life even more dangerous. And then when you tell me one thing, oh, I'm not with her, and then I look at the channel and she's pregnant, and you're walking, you're off to meth. I'm like, what are you telling me though? Like, I'm like, you telling me are you trying to hurt me because you're hurt? Because you're making me you're telling me promises. If I could run from this, I would. I can't seem to escape it. I'm emotionally troubled. I'm tossing and turning. Zach, like, there is just this kid I've been like waiting for me, and I'm sitting here like, where do we go from here? So it's like, I'm like, you can be honest with me. Talk to me. Tell me what's going on. I mean, don't lie to me. That lying to me, do you think I lied to you? Do you feel like I lied to you? Maybe some part of Zach felt abandoned. And he felt like, where is my partner? Where is my wife? This is not my wife. And so he's punishing me probably through this situation. I wanna hurt you this way, because it's the only way I can get to you. And I'm like, it's easy to hurt someone when you don't know what they're coming through, they've been through. I don't want to hurt you, so I don't march around with some other guy. I don't go around getting pregnant by people just to hurt Zach. No, my world doesn't revolve around Zach like that. My world revolves around planning, God. Like, we have to plan, and I have to think before I act, and I don't have the authority to say when I can get pregnant. You know what I mean? There's a system, and there's a time for a child to be born, and time for a person to die. So I do understand all your mistakes. Whatever mistakes you made because that was just your path, and I'm hoping you can grow from them. But what I'm telling you is that, my body is not going to be in a relationship with you while you're with her, or you're parenting. I don't like confusion. I don't operate with confusion. I don't want to be around confused women. It doesn't make sense to have kids and you behave. To me, it doesn't make sense. That's what smart people do. So I don't want to be around confused people. I don't want confusion in my life. My house is already a confused space because of the mess that's in here, but yet my mindset is still on point. I'm not allowing the mess around my house to ruin my mindset. Like, when you're running in a jungle, if you're in the military and you're running in you can't allow the platform to mess up your mindset. You have to think. So when I'm in my apartment, I'm thinking where to step. where, make sure I don't fall, I don't trip, things like that. So I could feel the anger that Zach feels. I could feel the frustration. Like I said, I've spent 9 years, 10 years working on my body to get to this point. And you probably gonna need that same amount of time. Anger is not something that is easily removed. Love heals. Relationships are not built based off of, lies, because you end up quarreling. That's what lies do. You quarrel because, especially when you speak into an honest woman, their body's always telling them the truth. And because we have no choice but to face this person, we have to tolerate the lies. And then how long can I tolerate? So I think about what I've fought for and what I'm willing to continue to fight for. Who am I inviting? Even if I have no choice, like I'll be like, okay, I have no choice to bring you here. If you need to come over here, I'll bring you here. Are you ready to survive this though? Can you survive it? Right? I mean, I want you to survive it. I don't want to scare you. I know that there is a timing to everything. So like I said, Quincy can run her channel. She can have this guy pregnant. Everybody can press like, but it all boils down to the end of your happiness. You guys can play make believe, fake it till you make it, but you're going to feel ripped off at the end when you haven't gotten your reward. And you think that pretending and this is going to get you the reward. Being honest is what's going to get you your reward. So we've gotten to this point where you finally found me. I finally found you under poor circumstances. And now I'm trying to break the walls down and the layers of your heart that are hardening it to keep it from being obedient. And I don't want to say obedient because I'm obedient, and obedient might sound a little aggressive, a little parenty, but I don't know what other word to use for that, right? Surrender, obedient, I don't know. One thing I do have to tell you is that when you get out of the mindset of thinking that you have a choice between you and your twin flame, that's where you're still wrong. Because I don't see a choice. If I had a choice, I would leave and not think about Zach the minute he made a mistake, right? Because I have low tolerance for bullshit. My life has been like threatened. I don't have time for this. My body, my numbers, my years. I'm 38, you're 27. You have time to fuck around. I don't have that kind of time to fuck around. I don't have time to be around kids, women that are like kids instead of mature grown adults. I don't have that kind of time. Right? When you become an adult, even this moment right here, I'm already running out of breath, ready to go to sleep because it's time to go to bed now. Continue to heal. Don't waste your time hanging around people that are not adding a single thing. And I tell you, having children is a blessing. There's nothing more rewarding than having children with a person you're in love with, because then you feel like a reward came out of it. But when you have a child by a woman you hate, a woman that is abusing you, you just see another abuse, another problem, And for me, it's like you get aggravated. Parenting becomes an endless chore. There's no joy. The joy to being a parent is love. When you fall in love and you're with the love of your life, you're happy to raise these kids. You're happy, and I refuse to be ripped off and have my man spend time with other people, but he's trying to say, I can't possibly spend time with that person and be with you at the same time and continue to be happy. I see that. I could dividing my attention between two people just makes me feel like I'm ripping myself off. So I see where what Zach is saying. But then when I see these videos, I'm like, so did you spend one day to go visit this person, to take these videos, these pictures? You say like they cheated on you, so can you tell me more about that? Like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's a lot. And what it feels to me like is like I'm carrying weight that I is not necessary. I'm not used to being in a relationship. And I've had all these guys in my past. They're not that many guys, but I've had guys in the past that I've had to be responsible for. And I'm like, I'm tired. And it might make people happy to see, like, all I see about Quincy and Zach's page is, oh, we're going to this today, we're going there today, we go just another. There's no solutions, nothing. There's no growth, nothing. Just a dead end. Just talking about two white kids we having babies. So there's no purpose of following them or fighting for them, or you know what I mean. I'm just talking about Zach, and I'm like, where are we going? Where is this going? And in Twin Flames, even if it's not going anywhere, the goal is that you found each other. That's where that bows down to. I'm like, well, where are you when I need you? Where are you when I need someone to pick me up, to pick this up, to do this? You know, it takes work. It's not just about
This was giving me the freedom to choose, and I kept misusing that freedom. One day you just wrote no worries, and I turned off my screen. To this day, I think about how many worries were hiding behind that no worries you carried alone, and I never even asked. You tolerated my delays in the name of patience. Every time I avoided talking about the future, you never cornered me. You never once asked, what am I to you? You gave me time, space, even while I was using that time to escape rather than find clarity. I thought you were understanding, adjusting, when really you were quietly hurting. There was that one time, a brief pause in your eyes when I didn't introduce you to an important part of my life, and you said nothing, just changed the subject. And I mistook that silence for permission. That pause, that 1 second, still lives in my mind. You weren't tolerating, you were enduring, and I was selfish enough not to see the difference. Imagining a future with you didn't feel like an escape. It felt like a blank canvas, like I wouldn't repeat my old patterns. Like we could build something new together where fear was optional and honesty was the default. But building something new means breaking something old, and I was afraid of that breaking. Planning with you didn't feel like, what if? It felt like, why not? Like when you casually mentioned wanting a small studio with morning sunlight and the smell of books. In that moment, I pictured myself in that space without a single doubt. What I felt with you wasn't comfort. It was growth. And I was the man who stood at the door of growth and refused to walk in, because I knew that once inside, the old version of me wouldn't come back. Your values were never loud. They were consistent. You set boundaries without guilt. You expected clarity without pressure. You wanted honesty. And I was surviving on half-truths because it felt easier. You could compromise, but you never bargained with your self-respect. I used to think stability was boring. I wanted thrill. unpredictability, but you showed me that real safety is rarer than excitement. I mistook stability for boredom, and in chasing excitement, I turned you into a risk. When the truth was you were the safest place I had ever been, and I walked away from it because I wasn't used to feeling safe. I wasn't running from you. I was running from the feeling you stirred inside me, because it was unfamiliar. In front of you, I couldn't pretend that everything was sorted. You held me accountable without saying a word. Your presence was holding up a mirror, and I wasn't ready to see my own reflection, so I kept creating distance. The excuse of being busy, the excuse of timing, the excuse of confusion. I kept delaying things every time until you were emotionally exhausted. For the first time, someone had truly seen me without a mask, and I took that as my weakness. I was scared that if I stayed, I'd actually have to become the man you deserved. And at that time, I wasn't ready to be that man. I don't know if you'll ever be able to forgive me. Maybe you shouldn't have to. But every day I remember those moments when you went quiet, and I never asked why. Like that one call where you said it's okay, but your voice was flat, and I changed the subject. Or when you told me take your time, and I made that time indefinite. One night I couldn't sleep, and I spent the whole night thinking about the conversation I should have had with you. The word sorry feels too small for everything you carried. But I acknowledge it. I made you feel like you were optional, like losing you was the last priority on my list. I didn't used to believe in destiny until you left and still never really left me. People move on, right? They build new routines, form new connections. But the more I try to distract myself, the more I think about you, like a thread that feels attached even after it's been cut. Maybe some connections don't follow a timeline. They wait until both people are emotionally ready. And maybe I'm slowly moving toward being ready now, a little late, but genuinely. I used to imagine the future to make the loneliness of the present feel lighter. But with you, I imagine the present so the future can feel real. Like grocery shopping with you feels like an actual plan, or waking up on a Sunday without an alarm. I daydream about ordinary things, because with you, even ordinary feels meaningful. For the first time, I didn't need to close my eyes to dream. With you, life doesn't feel like an escape. It feels like a grounded possibility, and that feeling is just as real today as it ever was. My biggest mistake was waiting for clarity to arrive. I thought I'd express myself once I was sure, but by then, you were already hurt. I kept processing everything internally, staying silent externally. You kept sending signals, and I kept delaying them until they faded. And what weighs on me the most is this: you truly deserved a choice that was confident, clear, without delay. I lost you because I realized too late, and that weight gets a little heavier every single day. And when I came back home, I ran into that friend again. He asked, "How did today feel?" I smiled and said, "I'm fine." But deep down I knew everything I was truly feeling, I had already shared with you. There was nothing worth hiding from you. My heart had chosen you once, and that choice still feels right to me. Lately, I've had a lot on my plate. Between responsibilities and non-stop work, I barely get a moment to breathe. And yet, here I am. In the middle of all this chaos, I still found myself sitting here today. Sitting in this room where the silence is so loud, it's actually starting to hurt. I've been trying to keep my hands busy, trying to keep my mind distracted with work, with people, with pointless noise. But every time the world goes quiet, Your face is the only thing I see. I'm gonna be real with you today, even if it...
And do you know why my face is the only thing you see? It's because I'm here to help you be still. Hanging out with friends, people is not going to make your life easier. It's just going to waste your time. You have a long life to live. And the more you spend that time with people, you take away from yourself. I sit in my house, and the only people I hang around with, I remember when I was younger, my ex-birth mother used to say, no friends. No friends. When you're young, things are different. You think you need friends to be happy. When you get older, that's because your energy is not being stripped. You're fresh out the womb. You're exploring. You're this, you're that. You want to try this. You want to have this. You want this life. When you get older and you lose energy and you lose strength, you begin to realize that friends can't save you in the end. Unless they're housing you, paying you, hanging around people, even just to talk is taken away from your future. I talk to my social workers. I write to my social workers. Then I write to Zach. That's it. I have no reason to. I'm 38 years old. I don't have time. I don't have the desire. You have to ask God to remove, in the name of Jesus, the desire of wanting to hang around Quincy, all those, your past. Why go back into that hellhole? Why be around people that are why reward a person that belittles you? How is that education in any way? You know what I told my baby's daddy when he told my daughter to call me a ratchet? That's what he called education. He gets time with my daughter. His daughter, ex-daughter. You know what a reward that little girl is? I allowed him to talk to her on the phone, and all he could say is, tell your mama she's a ratchet. That's all he knew. I said, are you kidding me? Don't call us back. He ended up in jail. I told you, don't call me back. Don't call us back. And that was the end of it. Because I had to make a decision. The kind of seed I want planted in my daughter. Why would I want my daughter to have a deadbeat, a man that is telling her to curse the only woman that was able to take care of her at the time? I don't let anybody tell me twice. I don't care how many heirs. Do you know that half of these kids, half of the people in this world, you could have been one of their grandfathers? You just died and were born again, and you forgot each other. It's good to have kids, but it's pointless in the end. You've invested all your time in a woman that sees you like a piece of shit. That's how she feels about you. She'll feel the burn. It's nice she'll have the kids, but if you don't train kids properly, they become a weapon formed against you. You don't teach them the right way, they're probably looking for plans to plot against you. I want you guys to know the value of your time. You don't see the value of your time, the value of your energy. You don't understand what it took for us to be here today. You don't know the pain that many people suffered and probably still suffer today for you to be here. So you can allow people to fuck with you just so you can feel, I don't know what you're getting out of it. But I sit in my house by myself, and I'm happier about I'm happier by myself. I really am. The only thing that makes me unhappy are the voices, the devil, the stupid little things. Those are the things that are annoying me. But when you finally have space to yourself, you have a project, you have things to do, a business maybe to run perhaps. Hanging around people that value money more than your mental health, more than your emotional health, those are worthless people. Do you know how many rich people like Steve Jobs, Paul Walker, many people have died? They've worked hard only to end up giving their wealth away to other people. Never really enjoyed. They enjoyed their life when they were there, but they spend most of it working just to pass it on to someone else. The person you want to spend the most time with is God. You don't want to create bad karma and repeat bad cycles. Do what they did to you to others. You're just repeating an evil cycle. You want to be a difference maker. You want to use your power to make a change, especially if they're copying what you do. Smart people value their time, and they don't allow ignorance in their space. Children are beautiful, but they're not mine to keep. They're never ours to keep. They're not. Then where's my daughter? Right? If I have a child, I'm investing in the universe's future, our future. Right? We raise our child, we raise them well, we find them a good husband and hope that whenever we need them, they can support us as we supported them and wish them happiness. We can't hold them hostage. We can't keep them in our house. If they can help us, then we can work as a team. If they can't, they can go. Because why keep problems around?
It makes me look like the villain in our story. I did something pathetic. I did something that shows how much of a mess I've become without you. I sent someone. I sent a friend. Someone you don't know. Someone who was just a stranger to you. I told him to get close. I told him to see if you were really as all in as you said you were. Dear, I can't fully explain why I did all this, but I'm trying. What's happened over the past few days, it hasn't been normal. I know that. You see, my ego was playing tricks on me. I kept telling myself, there's no way she's still waiting. There's no way she hasn't replaced me yet. I wanted to find a reason to move on. I wanted him to come back and tell me that you were talking to someone else, that you were flirting, that you had forgotten about me. Because if you had moved on, then I wouldn't have to feel this soul-crushing guilt of leaving you in limbo. If you were disloyal, then I would be the victim, not the runner. But when he came back, the look on his face, it shattered me before he even opened his mouth. He told me everything. He told me how he tried to slide into your space, how he tried to give you the attention I haven't been giving you. And he said, bro, she didn't even look at me. He told me how your energy was like a brick wall. He said you mentioned someone in such a way that it felt like that person was sitting right next to you, even though I've been miles away for months. I remember the way we used to talk before. You weren't like this back then, but hearing you today felt good. The truth is, while I was out here playing games and testing your loyalty, you were out there protecting a ghost. You were protecting us. I'm looking at everything laid out in front of me, and all I see is heartbreak layered over betrayal. It's like pain didn't just visit, it moved in. It's a total betrayal, but the betrayal wasn't from you. I betrayed myself. I betrayed the most sacred connection I've ever had because I was too scared to believe that something this pure could actually exist. I thought everyone had a price. I thought everyone eventually folds when the silence gets too long. But you're made of something different. And now, I'm sitting here feeling like a total coward. I sent a stranger to do my dirty work because I was too weak to just pick up the phone and ask you, do you still love me? I'm seeing you in my head right now, probably drinking your coffee, or looking out the window, or just going about your day, having no idea that I was lurking in the shadows, trying to find a flaw in your character. And all I found was my own reflection, and it's ugly. My love, what I've been going through these past few days, I can't even share 1% of it with you the way it truly feels. This realization has hit me like a physical punch. I can't breathe right. I keep pacing this room, looking at the door, half expecting you to walk in and tell me you know what I did, but you don't. You're just there, being loyal, being beautiful, being mine, while I don't even deserve to say your name. The friend I sent, he told me he felt guilty even talking to you. He said the love you have for me is so visible, so tangible, that it felt like he was trying to rob a temple. My sweet soul, I am so sorry. I'm coming back to the realization that I can't hide anymore. This dangerous friend of mine didn't find your weakness. He found mine. He found that I am nothing without your light. I'm not just coming back to apologize. I'm coming back to beg for a chance to be the man you think I am. Because right now, I'm just a man who realized he almost threw away a kingdom for a handful of dirt. Stay exactly where you are. Don't let your heart go cold. I know I've been the one holding the ice, but I'm ready to melt. I'm ready to face the truth. And the truth is, you are the only home I've ever known. I am the one who is blessed. I am the one who is lucky that you haven't closed the door yet. But let's go back. Let's go back to the moment I decided to be a coward. I want you to understand the level of madness I was in. I was sitting in my car, late at night, watching the rain hit the windshield, and I couldn't stop thinking about who was holding your hand while I wasn't there. My mind was creating these fake scenarios, vivid, painful movies of you laughing with someone else, you giving away the secrets we shared, you moving on like I was just a ghost from your past. So, I picked up the phone, I called him. You know who he is, but you don't know what he is to me. He's the guy who sees through everyone. I told him, go to her. Find a way to be in her orbit. Don't tell her it's me. Just see if she's still there. I spent the next 3 days in a living hell, baby. Every time my phone vibrated, my heart stopped. I was terrified he'd send me a photo of you smiling at him. I was terrified he'd tell me you gave him your number. I was literally shaking while I was at work, trying to act normal, trying to lead meetings, trying to fix things, while my personal life was hanging by a thread I had intentionally tried to cut. I was checking your social media every 10 minutes, looking for clues. Did she post that for him? Is that a hidden message for someone new? I became a detective in a case where I was the only criminal. I was looking at our old pictures, then looking at the clock, wondering if at that exact second, you were betraying the memory of us. And the irony? The absolute, crushing irony is that while I was paying someone to watch you, the universe was watching me. It was watching me crumble. It was watching my integrity dissolve. When he finally called me back, I couldn't even pick up the first time. I let it go to voicemail because I wasn't ready to hear that I had lost you. I sat there, staring at the flashing light on my phone, feeling like my entire chest was being hollowed out. I thought, this is it. This is the moment I find out I'm replaceable. But then I listened to it, and then we met up. He sat across from me, and he didn't even order a drink. He just looked at me with this pity. He said, bro, I've seen a lot of things. I've seen people fold in seconds. I've seen loyal partners forget their homes for a compliment. But her? She's not human. She's something else. He told me about the way you carried yourself. He said he tried every trick in the book, the charm, the attention, the subtle pressure. And you treated him like a polite stranger. You were kind, because that's who you are, but you were unavailable. He said it was like you had an invisible shield around you made of a memory. My memory. I started crying right there in the middle of that coffee shop. A grown man, shattering into pieces because he realized his woman was a queen, and he was acting like a peasant. I kept asking him, "Are you sure? Did she mention a name? Did she seem lonely?" And he said, "She's lonely, yeah. You can see it in her eyes. But she'd rather be lonely and true than crowded and fake." That sentence, it killed me. She'd rather be lonely and true. While I was out here looking for options to protect my ego, you were sitting in your loneliness, protecting me. I realized that while I was sending people to test your loyalty, I should have been sending someone to protect your heart from the pain I was causing. I'm scared that I've pushed the test too far, and the door I thought would always be open has finally clicked shut. It feels like all of the anger, 100% of it, is directed at myself now. Last night, after the sun went down and the world became that hollow kind of quiet, I fell into this half sleep. It wasn't a dream, baby. It was a vision. A haunting, vivid reality that played out behind my eyelids. I saw you, but you weren't looking for me anymore. I saw you standing on a shore, looking out at an ocean that felt as vast as the distance I've put between us. You looked beautiful, but it was a cold kind of beauty. It was the beauty of a woman who had finally learned how to breathe without the person she loved. I tried to scream your name. I tried to run to you, but my feet were stuck in the sand of my own pride. I was paralyzed, forced to watch as you turned your back and walked toward a light that didn't belong to me. I woke up gasping for air, my chest tight, my pillow soaked in a sweat that felt like pure terror. I realized in that moment that I've been playing with fire, thinking I was the one in control of the flame. But you aren't a flame I can just turn on and off. You're the sun. And I've been hiding in a cave of my own making, wondering why it's so dark. I started thinking about every time you reached out and I gave you a one-word answer. Every time you showed me your soul, my busy schedule, I sent that friend to test your loyalty. But the truth is, I was testing your patience. I was testing how much disrespect you could take before you finally realized that I wasn't acting like the man you deserved. And my friend's words keep looping in my brain like a broken record. She didn't even look at me. Do you know how much that humiliates me? Not because you were loyal, but because it proves how much better you are than me. If the roles were reversed, if you had sent a beautiful woman to test me during my weakest, loneliest hour, would I have been as strong as you? Would I have kept my eyes on the horizon, waiting for a woman who wasn't even speaking to me?
And that's where our relationship became a problem. Is I being in competition with someone it's that you love is just, I think it's just a part of your personality maybe, or it's the devil, or it's like I've always had to dim my light just to make you feel comfortable, to make you feel safer. If I'm beautiful, I'm too beautiful, which puts your life at threat with other men, because now every woman has to look at me and try to be like, you know what I mean? And that puts me in problems. And it made me feel unhappy with who I was, even at my most beautiful state, because you were unhappy under feeling like I was better. And I spent all my life telling you how amazing you are, and you treating me like shit just so you could feel better. That's not what a real relationship is. It's I value you, I value your time, but whatever you went through is to teach you a lesson and see how bad life is without the love of your life. It's like you just walking around like a headless chicken, walking around like a dead man walking. Just work, killing time, but you can't even beat time because time is endless. You know what I mean? Love helps time fly. Love helps you enjoy. It is the recipe to life. Love is the recipe to life. And this is why me showing up anyway is I'm not here to impress a single soul in this lifetime. I'm already highly impressed by surviving. Right? People are a reward, but they're still just people. The people you could cherish the most are the ones that are your support system. They're your strength, your rock. And the program, you don't have to, when you're with a program, you don't have to sell yourself short. They're here to support you, to help you. You don't have to, no matter what you do, people are going to hire you just so you can continue to be their slave. Even while you get paid as they get richer off of you. Listen to the woman that God sent for you. She's a true reward. And that's not, obviously not Quincy. God is not with her. Obviously. That's why she's confused. She has no real plan. Nothing. Just babies.